My personal thoughts on the Metro UI on Xbox. I've now had a couple of days to live with the new Metro UI for Xbox, and I have to say it looks pretty, but I hate it. So the new Metro UI is supposed to be a trial for the way Windows 8 is going to look on touchscreen devices, and proving out that the interface works for a varied number of user experiences. The one that they're most interested right now is what's called the 10-foot experience. The 10-foot experience is when you're sitting 10 feet away from the device that you're using, like in a television and a couch. Now, the problem that I have with the Metro UI isn't so much about the Metro UI, it's about some of the features that they're supposed to be tying in that are part of it. So for one, I use what's called the Scepter, and the Scepter is the infrared remote that comes with the Xbox. Now, I also use one of the Logitech Harmony remotes as an infrared remote for the Xbox. But it doesn't appear that this was a well-tested scenario, because I'm finding that whenever I enter certain modes in the Xbox, it pops up and tells me that I need to attach a controller to continue, yes or no. And when you say no, you don't get to go forward. And when you click yes, you end up in this nice long loop that says connect a controller to continue, and you say yes, and it says connect a controller to continue, and you say yes, and it just keeps going on like that, and it's monotonous. Now, the other problem that I have is that you're supposed to be able to do more with Kinect. And I was playing with this because I was mildly intrigued by the idea that instead of having to search for shows through the traditional interface, I was going to be able to say, Xbox, Bing, and then say, Sanctuary, because for some reason Sanctuary is never one of the featured items, but it's a show that I watch. And so I went, Xbox, Bing, and it said, you're now leaving the Zune experience. Do you wish to continue? I guess. Yes. Wait 25 seconds while we exit the Zune experience to go into the Bing experience. What would you like to search for? Sanctuary. Sanctuary. And it spins and it spins and it spins, and 25 seconds later, it has shown me the sanctuaries that are already on my hard drive, along with the option to browse the latest ones. So, I select that I would like to watch Sanctuary. Unfortunately, Sanctuary that's out on the Zune experience and Sanctuary that's on my hard drive are both labeled Sanctuary. So you don't get to say Sanctuary, instead you get to say Item 1. And because it took you so long to get to this point, you don't actually say Item 1, you say Xbox. And you wait for it to pop up and you say Item 1. And it says you're now going to launch the Zune experience, which means that you get to wait for 30 seconds while the Zune experience loads and it goes to Sanctuary. And of course it doesn't go to the latest episode, it goes to the first one in Season 4. So you have to say Season 4, then you have to say next, next, Item 4, and then you say play. And it doesn't play the show, it plays the preview for the show because you're on the rental page. And so what you actually had to say was rent. And then you have to go through the confirmation, wait for it to do its thing, and then you can say play. And your show will get to start. Now, that's a long time to go from I would like to watch Sanctuary to I am watching Sanctuary. In fact, it took me 2.5 minutes to get there from when I wanted to start watching my show to when I was actually watching my show. And I timed it because I didn't want it to be like, oh yeah, you fumbled through the controls. That was how long it actually took, was 2.5 minutes, which is unrealistic. Come on. On my TiVo, the longest it's ever going to take me to find a show is paging through the stuff, and I can go page down with the channel button instead of the other, and I can go a whole page at a time. So never more than 45 seconds, ever. And that's if I screw something up along the way. So I really dislike that. I also dislike that in Hulu, Zune Experience, any of those places, every time you scroll sideways, you get the da-dunk, 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 da-dunk noise. And so when you're scrolling through things quickly, you're going broom, 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 and it's annoying, and I can't turn the sound off. There's no, hey, I wouldn't like to have this effect sound in my UI. Apparently, an important part of the experience is hearing the sound of children going down the stairs on a sled while a lightsaber battle happens on the side. I'm sorry, Microsoft. I'm usually a supporter of the things you do. I'm glad you want to get people acclimatized to the new Metro UI that's going to be in everything, but this is silly. You've taken the experience and you've made it so that you think that we're going to use a touchscreen, and we're not. Using the Kinect and waving my arms to control my TV is silly, and the fact that you made the thing that I have to say in order to fire up the Xbox be Xbox, because then every time I watch Major Nelson talk about Xbox, he comes on and says, Xbox, and the Xbox perks up and says, hey, Major Nelson, I'd love to hear what you have to say. And Major Nelson says, stop what you're doing, and Xbox goes, stop, and stops playing Major Nelson. And yeah, that's just not all right with me. It's a good thing I was a little worried. I watched the Major Nelson crazy deals, and he said buy, and I was a little worried that my Xbox was going to hear him and it was going to buy absolutely everything that he said. So you've been warned, Xbox. If Major Nelson does a video that causes my Xbox to buy shit, I'm going to be a little upset. That's my review of the new Metro UI. Sorry there's no pictures of the new Metro UI. I'm too lazy to capture the video and talk over it because I figured you wanted to see my crazy face anyway.